Hi, I'm Topher. I'd like to talk to you about caching on the web and what it can do to make your website extra fast. And we're going to take a look at what xCloud can provide for you as far as flexibility is concerned. It's pretty impressive. Let's start with what caching is. A cache, according to the dictionary, is a place where things are stored or kept safe. You may have heard the phrase a cache of pirate treasure, or you may have heard about geocaching. But today we're going to talk about web files. So let's look at the different types of web caching. First, we're going to look at full page cache. It saves on the server copies of full web pages. It avoids time-consuming page builds and uses more efficient delivery methods. Let me show you what I mean. I'm here on my xCloud admin panel, and you can see I have one site here. I'm going to click on it. And in the left, under WordPress, you'll find caching. And we have page caching turned on, and we have some options here. These three are WordPress plugins, and they're great. But the option we have turned on right now is a custom web server built just to serve static files. And this does not have to run PHP. All three of these plugins run PHP to do some work. Using Nginx does not. This makes it a lot faster. If your host supports Nginx caching, you should use it. It's great. So what this does is take a web page like this one. Normally, this page is built every time you request it. PHP files are run, database queries are run, template parts are put together. It's like a puzzle, and that takes time. But if you have full page caching turned on, then it makes a copy of that and serves it instead of having to build the whole thing every time. Here's another little example. This is all the HTML that makes up this page, and it's only about 50 kilobytes, which is really tiny. And so if you have a super fast web server like Nginx serving super tiny files, it's going to be really, really fast. So you want full page caching. But WP Rocket can be configured to work with Nginx. You'll see here we have Rocket Nginx caching. WP Rocket also allows you to add headers to cached CSS, JS, and images so that you can say, store my images for 1 day or an hour. And that way, they get refreshed in the browser so that you can control how long the visitor's browser keeps track of those files. This is super powerful, and I highly recommend that you go the Rocket Nginx path. If your host does not provide that combination, then you'll end up having to choose between something like Nginx or WP Rocket. But xCloud does, and it's great. We're still here on the WordPress caching page. And down here, right now we're using Redis Object Cache. We have the option of Object Cache Pro or Cloudflare Edge Cache. They both do the same thing. You get to choose which one you prefer. Redis is the one that came with this site when I turned it on, and it's great. I never bothered to change it. Redis is actually a different server. It runs on the same machine, so it's right next to your web server, but it's a different kind of server. Which is why we have user, password, and cache key. And right here, you can purge your cache. WordPress queries that use meta keys are notoriously slow. They just are. But if you can save the output with Redis, then they're just going to be much, much faster. Next, opcode cache. This is super cool, and on most hosts, you don't have any control over it whatsoever. And if they offer it, great. If they don't, too bad. With xCloud, you get the choice. So this saves on the server code that has already been used. Not just the output of code, but code. Here's an example. This is a very short piece of PHP. Right there. It runs out to the database, it gets some data, and brings it back. The web server can't actually read this. This is plain English. Web servers have to convert this to binary, ones and zeros. every time it's run. So imagine you have 1,000 lines or 10,000 lines or 100,000 lines of code. Having to rerun that every time is really slow. Opcode cache will save that binary and be able to rerun that much, much faster. Now, let's take a look at where that is in xCloud. I'm going to go back to my panel, but rather than my site, I'm going to go to my server. And so I click servers at the top, and I choose my server here. And under management, I go to PHP configuration. Now, these are all the versions of PHP available. I only have one installed, and I kind of recommend that. If you were to upgrade, you'd uninstall the one that's there. But right here is a column for opcode, and it's just turned on. Now, a great thing about xCloud is it's on by default. Like if you get a server, it's going to be on. So you would have to come turn it off if you didn't want it. I can't think of a reason you don't want it. But it's there. You can turn it off if you want. But you really should use opcode cache. So we have full page caching, browser caching, object caching, and opcode caching. 4 very, very powerful tools to make your website run extra fast, and xCloud provides them all.